Hello and welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't been here before, my name's Vince Alexander and I'm documenting the first few weeks of my YouTube journey. I'm back in the United Kingdom. When I left it was nice and sunny and it was very warm. It's still rather sunny, it's really nice, but it's not very warm. The wind swung round to the northeast, and there's quite a chill in the air. And also I've forgot my very posh DJI OM5 gimbal, so this video might be a little bit oops, got my hand in the way there, might be a little bit stuttery. It might be better if I stop. I'm at the top of one of the deans in County Durham. A dean is like a little valley that I am told, or I was reliably told as a child, that were cut into the landscape by melting glaciers all those years ago, those hundreds of thousands of years ago, when the ice age was about and it was beginning to melt, and it carved these gullies. I've often wondered if there's gold down there or diamonds or something, but I presume if there had have been, they'd have found them by now, wouldn't they? And I'm sure someone my age doesn't want to be going down hills, because going downhill is something I've been doing very well, I have to say. Going up them might be a bit more difficult. I'm basically just checking in. You know, I was thinking yesterday how little things can sometimes challenge that little bit of peace. I've noticed recently the cost of a car wash seems to have gone rather astronomical. A year or two ago it was £5, £5. You could drive into the car wash, have a quick wash of the car, you know, they'd rub it down for you, three young fellas are at full blast, and slip them a fiver, a couple of quid tip, and you were away. I went the other day and I gave him a tenner. He said, another £2. I said, oh, are you asking for tips now? He said, no. He said, it's 12 quid. 12 quid to have your car washed. So I decided when I came back from Thailand on Monday, well, the car did look bad. It did look like it needed a wash. I thought I'd go into one of those jet washers, and it's £2 for 3 minutes. Now, I'm not as fast as I was when I was younger, but I thought, well, if you take your time, you'll be able to do it. And it's all modern now, isn't it? You can put cash in, but they prefer it. Do you know, my arms are starting to ache. I'm holding this phone with my hand and it really is starting to... Back to the car wash. So I tapped my card and nothing happened. So I tapped it again and it said goodbye. I thought, goodbye, I've not started and it's cost me £4, 4 quid. So never mind. I tapped it again, and this time something squirted out of the lance, and I managed to start, you know, doing the pre-wash. I then picked up the foaming brush, I pressed the relevant button, and nothing happened. So I thought to myself, well, at least I can, you know, there's people walking by, walking dogs and things. At least I can, you know, use the brush to wash off some of the water and dirt that's accumulated. And I was just about finished going round and the foam started coming out, and I thought, yippee, the foam's come out. And I got foam on half the car and it stopped, and I thought, well, I've used 6 quid of credit. So I put another £2 in and I continued with my car wash, and when I checked, it said I had 4.5 minutes for the £2, which I didn't quite understand. So I finished spraying the car with cold water as best I could, and I got my old chamois leather out and I wiped it down again as best I could, and I went into the garage, and I'm just going to have to, oh no, I can't do that, I'll have to keep holding this hand, I'll have to talk a bit quicker because my arm's aching. I tell you what, I'll come back, I'm going to take a break because I'm going to have to put my arm down. It's awful, isn't it? Arthritis in your fingers and your right arm. Count to 10 and I'll be back in a flash. It's all modern these days, it's all editing, I'm told. Now, where was I? Oh yes, So I went into the garage and I said to the young fella behind the counter, I said, now, excuse me, I said, but I've just paid £8 for a £4 car wash and it's not working correctly. 1 minute the foam's coming out and the next minute it isn't, and then the next minute nothing's coming out and then the next minute it is. Oh, he said, we have this problem occasionally, ring this number. And he pointed to a number on the wall. Now, having sight troubles, I wrote the number down wrong and I tried to ring it and there was nothing. So when I checked, I'd missed a 5 off the long number towards the end. So I rang it again on the way home and it said, you know, as it usually does, that my call was very important to them and to hang on. Now I was very lucky, I was only hanging on about 7 minutes when someone answered and they said, what's the site number? I said, well, I don't know, I don't know what the site number is. I said, I don't work there. They said, you're not the manager? I said, no. They said, what, you don't work there? I said, no. I said, I'm a member of the public. And this fella at the other end said, well, we don't speak to members of the public. He said, you'll have to go back and get them to phone us. So I went back and, you know, a good half mile, 3/4 of a mile drive back. I said to the young fella, I can't phone them, they won't talk to me. You're going to have to phone them. Oh, he said, I can't phone them, I'm only part-time. He said, I wouldn't know what to say. He said, can you come back in the morning when the manager's here? I said, yes. He said, what time? I said, well, you know, 10, 11 o'clock, not too early. He said, well, the manager will be here then, so come back and speak to him. So I went in this morning and it was a lovely fella and I said, are you the manager? He said, I am. I said, well, I had a problem with the car wash last night and basically it owes me £4. And I've rang that number, pointing to the number on the wall, and he said, oh, you couldn't get through there, could you? He said, that's not the right number. He said, you should be ringing the number above. So I started to put the number in above. He said, I'll read it out to you so you've got it. Anyhow, after ringing them and a short wait, I got through and they said, we're going to send you a link so you can clear £4 back and it'll go into your bank account at some point, I don't know when. So mission accomplished. But thinking about it, you know, I could have got a bit upset and angry and riled. I have to say I was a little bit frustrated, but it's times like that when you just have to think, I can't really do a great deal here, and you've got to let go. Have you noticed that these Buddhist sayings, these mindfulness sayings, are all the rage on the internet at the moment? You know, live and let live, just let go and let God. And it's easier said than done sometimes. So I just thought I'd share that little story with you. I'm going to continue the next 20 metres walking the dog before I turn round. The dog can do more walking than I can these days. It's wonderful to be back in good old Blighty. My arm's beginning to go again. This is going to be one of those short videos. It's sort of a short monologue, isn't it? I'm going to get back. I've been watching a few YouTube tutorials. That's right, YouTube tutorials on how to use CapCut, the editing software, and I'm finding it absolutely fascinating. And it's not as difficult as it looks. It's like everything else, you know. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm not quite sure who said that. They obviously haven't met this old dog. So thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed my little monologue, would you please like and subscribe? My arm's beginning to go again. Note to self, put that stand, what's it called, a tripod and the gimbal in the car in future, so your arm's not aching after 2 or 3 minutes. I'm about to drop this phone. Can you see the camera shake, even though it's stabilized on my own iPhone 12? That's something else. I've had a new front screen, a new back glass, a new camera and a new battery. So I'm not going to be buying a new phone anytime soon. Soon. As they say, look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. That's going to be the topic of another video sometime in the future. Anyway, it's been wonderful seeing you. Bye bye for now. There's me thumbs up. Take care of yourself and we'll chat soon.